God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God only knows that. All I do is get it. 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 All I do is get it.
I don't even want to watch myself.
Hi guys, we're back. Season 4?
17.
17? I don't know, but we have all these changes. It's season 4.
4.
Thank you. My engineer
Feels
said
like
season 4.
we always have a season premiere.
It's all good. Listen, we got a whole celebrity here, but I am Shirley Ann Phillips
not.
III.
And I am Emmanuel Anzules, a.k.a. Fox Baldwin.
A.k.a. Fox Baldwin, the star. Okay, this is the comment section. We are season 4. I can't believe it. I think we need a round of applause. Can we get a round of applause, please, sir?
Yeah,
Maybe
Charles.
For a season.
Slacking me there.
He's slacking, but...
Yeah, baby.
I can't with the Austin Powers. We got to update our ad-libs, but traffic was horrible as usual, so that has not changed. A lot has changed, but the traffic has not changed. We are here, and the reason why I refer to him as a star is because he was on The Weakest Link. Okay, I don't know if you guys caught it, but it was amazing. He won. So he won the game show, and now he thinks
Oh my
he's better
God, I'm
than all
getting
of us.
shy
He
now.
doesn't have time for us.
I'm blushing.
You should be. Without what it's like, you never told me that. I'm being an NPC.
So you remember the first installment of The Weakest Link?
Yes.
Back in the early 2000s with Anne Robinson, the British lady who was really mean.
She was mean.
And when a contestant would get eliminated off the show, she would say, "You are the weakest link. Goodbye."
Bye. Yeah.
Everybody remembers that.
Yes.
So they brought it back over the pandemic, and I've always been a fan of the show. So I was watching an episode in the new season, and I saw that they were looking for contestants for season 2 of the show. So I was
just
like,
happened to be surfing and saw that they were looking for contestants.
yeah, I was watching the show, and then over a commercial break, they announced it, and I applied like immediately. It took me like 5 minutes maybe.
See how God works?
And I got a call back the next day and an interview, and then they also like quizzed me on random trivia knowledge.
On the spot, they didn't give you time to prepare?
No, nothing. So, and it was all through Zoom, so you had to be like on camera, on video with the casting directors.
That's probably what they really wanted to see, like how you looked on camera, how that would convey, if you were smart enough to be
Yep.
on the show. That's
So
amazing.
the entire process of, I guess, getting on the show was like 2 months.
Okay.
You had to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork just to make sure that you were, mentally stable and adequate for the show. And then when, like, I finally got on, you didn't get an announcement saying, like, you're on. They just sent you, like, a flight, like a ticket.
Are you serious?
And a hotel reservation. And then you basically had to assume, you inferred that you were, yeah. You had to make an inference that you were on the show. So I flew out to LA last June.
I
And
remember.
the show just aired in April of this year. And once you're there, they don't tell you that you still have to audition in front of the producers.
Are you? See, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So I was so nervous
I can imagine.
because you're put on the spot, basically. They bring you to the producers, they ask you questions, and
How many producers were there?
it was 3 people. It was 3 people. But what I realized is that I was the only Hispanic man
That's a plus.
that was there. Everybody else was either white, black. I didn't see any Asians.
They
So I was
needed
like,
you.
so I was like, they need me for diversity and inclusion, for diversity and inclusion purposes.
I love it. That is amazing. And I remember when it happened, he was sworn to secrecy. He was like, I can't tell you guys anything because I'm not trying to be sued. But he told us that he was going to be on the show. He didn't know exactly when, so we were all excited. So congratulations.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud.
It was exciting to watch, but I got some backlash for a comment that I made. I don't know.
I know
So
what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, the housewife comment.
yeah, so there was one of the other contestants was a stay-at-home mom.
She was in her feelings.
She was in her field. So they asked me, they were like, why'd you vote for her to be eliminated? And I said, because I like people who go out and work every day. But I was joking. So after I said it, there was like a gasp
It was
in
a
the
joke.
studio.
I saw it.
And then right after I said it, I said, guys, I'm joking. And that's when everybody was like,
I saw it.
But they edited all that out to make it seem like I really did mean that.
I saw the reaction. The host was even looking like, oh.
Did he just
God.
say that? But they loved it. Like when I spoke to the actual production company after, they were like, oh, that's the type of stuff that
We need it.
we want. On
But
the
he
show.
made the show, guys. Like, the show was hilarious. If he hadn't have been on the show, I don't think I would have continued to watch. But he was so funny, and everybody. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Like an old Verizon commercial. You can hear me now. Okay. Had he not been on the
Thanks,
show, I
Shirley.
would not have continued to watch. So NBC, you need to figure it out. Find a place for him. I don't know if you need a second host, but he's over more than qualified. So. But we don't have a ton of time. We got a late start, like I said, due to traffic. But there's so much that has happened, you guys, since we last.
Too much, I would say, right?
Yeah, I'm a little traumatized, just a little bit.
Yeah.
This Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation is.
How do you feel about it, Shirley?
I feel away, as they say in the Bronx, because I know how domestic violence works. And I know that we don't always hear from the male's side. We don't always hear male perspectives on when and how they're being abused by their partners. And I also know how toxic relationships work in general, whether there's violence involved or not. I do know that both of them have had drug addiction problems. But just hearing his story about childhood trauma and him watching his mom be abusive to his dad not fighting back, but then knowing what I know about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard in general, I know he's not completely innocent either. So I think that both of them played a role in it, but I'm hoping that people will not just immediately take her side, because men get abused too, and we need to start talking about it. And a lot of times they don't. It's actually worse for you guys sometimes, because there's that whole masculinity ego issue.
Yep.
Men don't want to feel weak. They don't want to be chastised for not, So sometimes it's even worse when men are being abused. But it's like you need popcorn to watch this trial. Like, things that are coming out, her throwing the whiskey bottle or vodka bottle or something to him, chopping his finger, slicing his finger off. Like, it's
With the
crazy.
bottle, right?
It's crazy. So I'm interested to see how this turns out. But not funny, but definitely interesting.
Just wild.
It's a lot. It's a lot
Just so
to take in.
wild. And that just goes to show that you don't know what celebrities are going through. You're not exempt, right? Just because you're a celebrity from any of these interactions that happen to everyday folk.
All I know, Miss Heard, if you're watching, hi, you better be glad that this was not 1987, because I used to swear that I was going to marry Johnny Depp. My mother was a little concerned.
Oh, he was a heartthrob.
Oh my God. Tommy Hansen, 21 Jump Street, what?
He was a heartthrob.
Lucky.
Crybabies.
Crybaby.
My Johnny Depp.
The first Nightmare on Elm Street, wasn't he like the first one that got murdered or something? Or I don't know. But my mother was a little concerned, because I had like a whole shrine, Johnny Depp.
You were obsessed.
I was a little obsessed. Could probably use a little counseling.
I mean,
therapy.
rightfully so.
But he was fine. He's still gorgeous. He's still
Johnny
gorgeous.
Depp,
Yeah.
he's a living legend.
Yeah, but he's saying that his career was severely affected by that, the op-ed that she did about it. She didn't mention him by name, but basically people could draw conclusions that she was talking about him abusing her, and he's like, everybody like cut me off. Disney, everybody was like, sorry, we can't subscribe to this. So he's like, I need money. I'm getting it from you.
Cancel culture is so
It's
it's real and it's so toxic. Because we jump right into canceling people without having context, especially us as like everyday people, right? Like we don't know the severity of situations. We don't know what the interaction is like. We don't know the relationships, and we're so quick to judge and jump into conclusions without knowing the full story.
People take sides. You don't know the full story, and this is someone's life. Like, we're joking and we're, commenting on Twitter and Instagram, but this is someone's livelihood. They have children, they have bills, and when you're an actor, once you're no longer hot, it's difficult, and especially now with so much competition and so many different outlets, it's very easy for people to forget who you are and what you've contributed.
Yeah.
And these kids have no loyalty at all. So you're hot today, and next
Gone
month they're
tomorrow.
like, who? So
Seriously, yeah.
I feel bad, but we are talking today about autism, which is becoming increasingly more popular in regards to prevalent in regards to people talking about it and wanting to learn about it, because we're having more people that have it. And sometimes we have people, friends, for us students, that have it, and we're not even aware that they have it. And then,
They're not even aware.
They're not even. I'm like looking at some of my ex-boyfriends like, were you on the spectrum? 'Cause I don't know. But
I think most people are. They have like that.
something's up.
There is no other explanation.
There's no. So
Most of us are on the spectrum.
I might be on the damn spectrum. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I might be. Listen, gay. I don't know. But anyway, our guest is Miss Denise Johnson, who is a former educator, former principal, who has written an entire book about autism, and we are hoping today that we can get some clarity and some information that we can use and take back to our building so that, you know, we can all feel a little bit more comfortable discussing it and a little more prepared in dealing and addressing the needs of our autistic brethren. Okay? So,
And coworkers.
and coworkers, and boyfriends, and girlfriends, sisters. Maybe me. I don't know.
Right. Maybe self.
Maybe so. I definitely feel like I was an undiagnosed ADHD. I listen. My doctor told me to stop it, but I think I could do that wrong. What do I know?
I got some in my bag.
You got something? We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be back with the comment section with Miss Denise Johnson. Please come back, you guys.
She's so fake. She's such a slut. You can see the layers on her face. Look at her chicken legs. Oh my gosh. How short is that skirt? I can't believe she'd even put that on. Is that her dress? It's not even on her hardly. It's not even covering her up. It's actually disgusting. Oh my god. How can she do her hair like that? I don't even know how this girl has friends. I saw her talking to Holden the other day. Who does she think she is? I bet she slept with the whole football team. She's not even pretty. She's gained so much weight. She looks like a cow. Such a good idea. Watch this. You're good. Oh my god, that's so funny. You gotta post that. I got an idea past this. Oh my god.
Comment section with our beautiful guest, Miss Denise Johnson, author of the book I See You, a story written for children with autism. Love it. She's just given us our. I told her we don't do free here, so we're going to make sure that she gets compensated for her books. But Miss Johnson, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is the first time at a platform like this for me. I promoted my book, but I promoted it via a book signing at my house. And I have a seminar in Washington on the 13th of September.
Nice.
That's exciting.
I love
Taking
that.
Bianca with me. She probably doesn't know.
Bianca's her daughter, who I love to death, also an educator. And she's actually the one who put me onto this because I was explaining to her all the kids that, even just in our building, that we think may have autism. We're not sure. So we're hoping that you can, like I said, shed some light on this. But tell us a little bit about what prompted you to write this book. What inspired you to write it?
What inspired me was I was a special ed supervisor for many years. There's such a large population in the schools, and I feel like we're so busy doing what we do as administrators, we don't take the time to sit back and see so busy meeting deadlines and meeting with parents, which is very important. But, trying to get the teachers' observations and trying to do this and trying to do that, I had very limited time to really sit back and see the children. And, I since I retired, I sat and I said, you know what, I do see you.
Yeah.
I see you. I see your needs. I see how you're interacting or lack of interaction. But I wanted the world to know that I did see them.
Now, when you say see them, you mean see their needs. Oh, can you hear me? Is this good?
Closer.
Oh, I always have the mic issues. Is this better? Okay. See like their needs or see the deficits in the particular building that you were working in? What do you mean by
Yes, see them and see their needs and how they are different, how they face their challenges, how they have, special needs.
Yeah.
They may not talk like us. They may not walk like us. They may not look like us. They may have different, aspects of their learning that
Yeah.
need special attention. And we're so busy going about our daily responsibilities that we don't take time to really see them and sit
Yeah.
and talk to them and see how they are different.
And I know that autism looks very different from other disorders.
Yes.
Because a lot of times they function, they're sometimes in gifted and talented programs.
Yes.
They seem to be quote unquote just fine, but then if you know what to look for, you notice that something's awry here and it needs to be addressed. And I think it's very easy for them to slip through the cracks sometimes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a doctor in autism. I'm not a specialist in autism. I only can speak from, I get my information from the Autistic Science Foundation, and I get my the students, what do you call it? Their
Like stories and
their stories, experiences, their behaviors,
Yeah.
what we should look for, and it's so prevalent because as you deal with them on a day-to-day basis, it's so very real. It's so very real, and again, like I said, we're so busy going through the trenches, we don't stop and see
Yeah.
that these children need special attention. They have special needs. They like I said, they're different. And I wrote this book. It's not a book really about autistic and its characteristics. It's just that I wanted the world to know that in my journey as an educator for so many years, I did see them.
Yeah.
And I loved what I saw. I just wish I had more time to sit and talk to these children and just be loving to them. But I was so busy trying to make deadlines and trying to make sure their IEPs were done and make sure the teachers were doing what they needed to do that I did not have the time to
Get
really
caught
see
up.
them. Yeah.
Especially now,
Yeah.
not only just the children, a lot of the administrators don't see their teachers either.
Right.
No.
They don't know that
Right.
we're having our own mental
Right.
health issues.
They're
or,
so busy making deadlines. We're so busy, trying to, run the schools and be leaders that,
So, what are some of the? I know Manuel has questions as well, but I wanted to know what are some of the characteristics or typical characteristics that people could look for in trying to identify a student or
Okay.
a partner
Okay.
as autistic.
So again, like I said, I'm not a specialist, so I get my research from Autism Speaks. Students, they avoid eye contact. They don't make eye contact with you at all. They don't respond to their name by 9 months. If they're not responding, then they could be on the spectrum. There's no facial expressions, happy, sad, depressed, there's none at all, no angry. They don't play interactive games. They don't play with kids. They basically stay alone. They're isolated, and they don't show interest with other people. They have repetitive behaviors. They do the same thing. I had a student who, for some reason, every day, in the dismissal, he would trash the room. Every day he would trash the room. And it took me to go in there and, you have to build relationships with them. And because I had this relationship with him, I would, kind of schmooze him and, get him to, not even clean up the room. I just wanted him to make the bus because I didn't want to have to be responsible for taking him home. I just wanted him to get on the bus. But
Did he wait till all the kids were gone to trash the room?
Yes, he waited till the kids were gone. And the teacher would call me every day because he was like the last one to to leave, and and I met with his mom frequent, and she had those problems with him at home also. So a doctor had decided, and mother along with the doctor decided that this was the time now to put him on medication.
Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of calmed him down, and
Wow.
I call it the little blue gentle pill. I don't know.
What kind of medication is given to
I
autism?
don't remember the medication, because a lot of kids are on different medications, so and I don't really speak about that aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up because that was
Yeah.
one of my questions as well. Like, do you
Yeah.
have to take meds, or could it be just lifestyle?
It depends on what the parent decides. Like some parents, I try to coach them, but there comes a point that when the child gets home, they just cannot deal with it anymore. Those behaviors, so they decide along with the doctor to put them on, a small,
I'm sure that there's also comorbidity between autism and other disorders or mood disorders,
Right,
depression.
right.
anxiety.
That's why when a parent decides that they want that child to be evaluated, there's a whole cadre of people that sit at the table. There's the special ed supervisor, there's the medical doctor, there's a psychologist, there's the parent advocate, there's the behaviorist. There's a whole lot of people that sit at that table for
Yeah.
that child to decide exactly what's best for that child.
And you said by 9 months, if they're not responding to their name, that's one
Yes,
possible
that's a
way.
possibility. That's
Okay.
a possibility. Different kids have different ends of the spectrums. Some children are at the low end, and some children are high end.
Yes.
Some kids can function higher than others, but it's important that it does get diagnosed early, because what happens is that those behaviors start to manifest and get worse as they get older.
Absolutely.
So it's best to get that, diagnosed early.
So when we're saying autism spectrum, because you hear that a lot,
Yeah.
he's on the spectrum, she's on
Yeah,
the spectrum.
yeah.
What do we mean by autism spectrum? Because I'm thinking Elon Musk, and I know whatever spectrum is, he's at the high end because he's
Well,
a billionaire and he's doing something right.
Yeah, I'm very careful when I talk about a kid being on a spectrum, because I think only a physician and a psychologist can make that diagnosis. Just because a kid doesn't focus for a few hours, that doesn't necessarily mean that child is on the spectrum.
Exactly.
A child has to go through a cadre of exams and tests to kind of find out where their weakness is. But if you see that a kid is like staring, like a blank stare at you, there's no eye contact with you, there's no facial expression with you, there's no, direct look, you start to see that as when a child is younger, and to the parent that should be, and it's hard for parents. That's a very difficult decision to make, is to say, wow, something is not quite right.
That's not
And,
right.
yeah, something's not right. Something's just not
wonder-
right.
How many autism cases are misdiagnosed for something else?
Right,
Because the behaviors a lot of times are similar to other.
right.
Like
right.
social anxiety, I'm
Right.
thinking about. A lot of kids that have social anxiety have some of those same characteristics that you
Right.
mentioned.
That's why it's important for parents to really, talk to their advocate at their school and,
Yes.
and the special ed supervisor and say, you know what, I'm a little concerned because, Denise is just not acting right. Something's not right. I'm calling Denise. She's not responding. She's introverted. She sits by herself. She doesn't have friends. She doesn't want to smile. She doesn't want to interact with anyone. A parent has that gut
Yeah.
feeling when something's just not right with their
It's just
child,
not
and it's
right.
important. The parents,
Yeah.
because that's putting blame on parents, and I don't want to do that. I think we wait until it just manifests, and when the child is out of control, and then you say, you know what, something's not right. I got to get this
Something's
kid
not
tested.
right because it's stigmatized a
Yes,
lot, and
yes.
I think that there are a lot of misconceptions, like
Yeah.
you said, about people with autism, and people are kind of like afraid to talk about
right,
it.
right, because my child will be labeled.
Exactly.
However, I think it's important that you get that help early on, because there's so many different strategies and different resources, and a child's, individualized education plan could help him or her so much
Yes.
once it's implemented fully.
I'm wondering too, with COVID and quarantine and just having the masks over the mouths where they can't read lips at a young age, how did that affect, or how could that affect a child that may already have autism? Because now I'm really going to be more in my shell because I don't know what the heck is happening right
And
now.
the Zoom thing,
Oh, God,
And
it's
the
Zoom.
Right.
where
You
there's
know-
no interaction, right, with other people, no interaction with the teacher, you're talking to a screen.
Right. I think, the teachers are very skilled in coming up with ways to get across to their students. There's a big cadre of teachers that are very dedicated.
Yeah.
And they really work hard in implementing the child's goals and making sure that the child is getting what they need. I cannot say in my 34 years I've had a teacher that just totally ignored the IEP and wasn't going to work on the IEP. They have a genuine heart. They want to do well by students, and they find creative ways. With Zoom, I don't know, because I haven't been in the schools in a couple of years, so I'm retired.
Listen, I've
Good for
talked
you.
to students.
You want me to say that again?
You can say it again.
I'm retired.
One more time for the people in the back. This is goals right here. I know I said J-Lo was goals, but this is goals for real. Retired and my business. That's what
I
I
am
would like to
working,
be.
though. I am working.
But when you
I
want
work
to.
for NYU. Pace University,
Okay.
with fellows,
Okay.
supervising fellows.
please help
So that's a
Pace.
whole nother.
It's a whole nother struggle.
Yeah, that's another. But they're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well.
It's hard to
Yeah,
retain
it's-
teachers, so I feel for them.
Yeah.
Because they're coming into the education industry at a very, very
Yeah,
difficult
it's
time.
a very difficult time for them.
I feel for the baby, so thank you
Yeah.
for helping.
Yeah.
They recently got rid of one of the requirements for teacher certification,
What?
EDT.
known as
Know how to
the
read?
ETPA.
Yeah, EDTPA.
They got rid of that?
Yes,
Yeah.
the state released it.
It was giving
Yeah.
people such a difficult time
Oh.
trying to get their certificate because it's such an impossible task. You work on it for months and then it gets approved or denied. So a lot of teachers couldn't get their certification in time. So
Right.
they would have
We're
had
in
to
shortage
leave.
right now.
I know it was Bianca's nightmare.
I've heard.
I had to work with her on that. It was so time
I'm so
consuming.
glad I came into teaching way before that was
Yes.
even a
Yeah.
requirement.
Even just getting tenure. Like, thank God I came through the old system. You did what you need to do. Boom, you
Right,
got it in 2 or
right.
3
I
years.
never got it at the DOE. I came too late. I came
came
when
too
it was
late.
like 1 or 2 people from the school each year. Before, they used to hand them out like hotcakes,
Not,
right?
well, now I think it's a little easier because there's a shortage, so they're not trying
Yeah,
to
there's a
lose
shortage.
teachers.
Right.
But a couple years ago, it was very difficult. You had to submit like a whole portfolio and prove
Right.
that you deserved tenure, and they, like you said, it was very exclusive.
Yeah.
So,
Along with the exams that you had to pass.
yes.
Yeah.
So
So
Thank God
it
for
was
that.
it was a lot.
it's my question, I guess, biggest question is for someone that is considering having children, is there anything that a potential mother could do to help prevent her child from getting autism?
No, because as you read the research, it's a genetic. It's genetics. It has nothing to do with. I know a lot of people talk
not
about.
environmental.
Yeah, it's and a lot of people think it's due to vaccines. That's a myth.
Okay.
It's not. It has nothing to do with vaccines. It's all a genetic. I'm going to actually read
Please.
because I don't want to. It's a brain-based disorder. It's a genetic that is characterized by social communication challenges and restrictive, repetitive behaviors, activities, and interests. I'm sorry. It's an abnormal brain structure or function.
Wow.
It's purely genetic.
It's genetic.
It's genetic. Research suggests that autism develops from a combination of genetic and non-genetic influences or environmental influences. So I read that because like I said, I'm not a doctor of autism. I'm not a PhD. So I wanted to read exactly what the Autistic Science Foundation put out.
So, and once you have it for the rest of your life. It's not
Right.
something that
No,
you
it cannot be fixed. It cannot be reversed. It cannot be fixed. Medication won't heal it. It is forever.
Okay. Forever.
And I think,
Wow.
how a child does with it is it's early intervention. It's early intervention and getting that child their services and parents staying on top of those services and making sure that that child's IEP is being abided by. That's very important. And I think you asked a question of me earlier about what did I feel the DOE lacked in.
Yes.
And, I've worked for the DOE for many years. However, I feel that again, I'm going to say it again, with a supervisor, we're so busy trying to get other things done. You don't have time to just be the special ed supervisor.
Yeah.
You know, just focus on that child's IEPs.
Yeah.
Just focus on the child. Just focus on their goals. You're so busy trying to make deadlines and you know, do the leadership stuff and the budget and the, you know, getting
The hiring now.
the hiring and the
Firing.
firing and
Coverages.
coverages and the absences and the, you know, lunch duty and it's
Bus
just
duty.
bus duty and who missed the bus and who didn't get
Oh my
the bus
gosh.
and
I was supposed to
it's
say, I've
just-
never had a desire to be in administration. That I didn't sign up for that. I signed up to be an educator. I don't want to be anybody's manager, supervisor. I'm good. Thank you.
yeah,
Elon Musk, if
someone
you need me.
suggested that I do it, and I did it. Someone suggested. Actually, it was a principal that said, "You should go back to school to be an administrator," and I did, and I enjoyed most of it.
Did you feel, Denise, that when you became an administrator, you spent a lot less time interacting with students?
Absolutely,
How,
absolutely.
for you, right, who loves working with students, how did that impact you as an educator?
It was very difficult for me. It was very, very difficult for me.
Take
I
the
was,
fun out of it, right?
yeah, I was under the, I worked as an assistant principal. I was never a principal. I was an assistant
Oh,
principal.
okay. I didn't know.
And I worked with a principal who just, you know, everything was the teacher's observations and documenting the teacher's work and making sure that you have visitations on the teachers. And, you know, it never was about time for the children. It was never, and I think that's why I retired when I did, because I was not able to embrace my children the way I wanted to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not what you signed up for.
Right,
And that's what it's become, especially,
right,
I would say in the last 20 years.
right.
Like since No Child Left Behind, maybe a little
Right.
before that, it became all about just meeting benchmarks and data and numbers
Absolutely.
The horse and pony show.
and tracking.
Right.
Right. It's no longer about the art and the beauty that comes
Of
from
teaching.
interacting
You're right.
with our students.
You're right, absolutely.
So,
You're
with
absolutely.
that being said, right, like how many of our students who are suffering, how many of our students who are dealing with stuff at home or with disorders and feeling like they have their needs unmet, how many of them are not being seen right now?
I wouldn't even want to imagine. I felt a piece of me when I left. When I left the school, I felt like a piece of me was gone.
Oh, wow.
It was hard for me.
sad.
It was a very
that is
difficult
so sad.
decision for me to leave, but I felt like my legacy was gone, and there was nothing else I could do. And it broke my heart to see that, again, we're not able to focus on the children the way we want to.
I do feel like it's being normalized more, especially from
So sad.
comparison to when I was growing up. Emmanuel's a little bit younger than I am, but I do like to see television shows where they have leads that are autistic. That one show, I believe it's called The Doctor
Yes,
or something.
I love that
I love
show.
that
The
show.
I love that
The Good
show.
Doctor?
The Good Doctor.
Yes, The Good
yes.
Doctor.
So I love that people are able to see it
Yes.
and, you know.
They can be successful. They can be
Absolutely.
very successful.
Elon Musk, hello. I am so fascinated by this
Yes.
man.
We're gonna
Yes.
get shut down.
We're gonna get shut down. He gonna buy LDM Network.
He is gonna shut
Trying to
us
buy
down.
Twitter this week. But just the way that he maneuvers and some of the decisions that he makes, he's like, this is how I became who I am.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
He said a couple days ago that he doesn't even own a home. He's like, I sleep on friends' couches. Like, I don't have a place of my own.
Wow.
He's like, for what? I'm like,
So he's a freeloader.
okay. He's a freeloader.
He's a mooch.
Worth 270 billion. I mean, he can sleep on my couch anytime he wants.
I have a friend that does that with food. We
Me
go
too.
out and she never buys her own meal.
She brings
just-
it back, right?
Or she will like take food from everybody else, and that's her meal.
I
Like
bet
she'll,
you.
she'll
Wow.
have a complete meal.
She might be on this one. Either that or a Capricorn. Capricorns do that a lot.
She's a Capricorn.
See?
Actually.
See? I know what I'm talking about. I told you. Listen, I... Threw me off.
Oh wow,
They're
Shirley, you're
cheap.
good.
I was engaged to a Capricorn. Okay? 7 years.
Uh-oh.
I know how they get down. Anyways,
Oh my God.
Exactly. But I just, first of all, we're gonna run out of time. How many more minutes do we have? Allegedly, we always go over. 20. Oh, perfect. If there was one piece of advice that you could give an autistic person, what would that one piece of advice be?
Never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Simple but powerful.
Simple but powerful. Just like I see you. Simple. Very simple book, but very powerful.
I love that.
It's powerful. We actually, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but there is someone that I work with. I'm not going to say the person's name.
Okay.
That is an educator and a counselor that is autistic. And before I started,
Diagnosed?
yeah, absolutely,
Oh.
and very open about it. Like, yes, I have it, and
Oh, wow.
this person, everything that you said, I see those behaviors. But I also see a side of this person that is very empathetic, and a lot of people think that autistic people are kind of like cold,
Void
apathetic.
of
void.
emotion.
He's not at all. He just doesn't mess with everybody. And he said, dang it, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh my God,
I didn't mean to do the
Shirley.
gender.
We're gonna get shut down.
No, I didn't say the name. Everybody knows in the building, but very empathetic about things that he cares about and people that he cares about. If he doesn't mess with you, then you're like dead to him.
Because they can probably sense a person's like spirit. They can sense their intentions.
Right.
You know?
I'm glad you said spirit because he came to me one day. I had never really interacted with this person. And I was in my room, and I think my homeroom had gotten on my nerves, okay? So I was just already on 10. So he's like knocking on the door, and I'm about to like what? Mom, like, what do you? He's like, are you okay? He said, you don't seem like yourself. Just him doing that and me knowing what I know about him, that made my whole day. And he's like, anytime you want to talk, you can come to me. He's like, I'm not like these other people. He's like, I got you. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. We had never interacted like that.
Wow,
That's
wow.
so sweet.
They do have a loving side.
They do. He just doesn't
They have a
mess with everybody.
loving side. Yeah, they do. I don't have that much experience with the adults. I have more with children. But once they know you care, they have to know you care. And once they know you care, they're on you.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're on you.
Denise, I'm wondering your experience in dealing with. You said you don't deal with the adults too much, but have you heard or have you read anything that indicates that autism subsides the older you get?
That's what I wanted to know.
Like, are you able to mask a lot of the symptoms?
I think they can be controlled. They'll never go away. But I think you can control it, whether it be controlled with medication or whether it be controlled with some type of strategy or behavioral plan. But you can kind of tell. You have to have a lot of experience to kind of tell. I always laugh at my husband and I go out and I'll say, look, Rod, look at that child. He's on the spectrum. Look at him.
Oh, you?
Yeah, I can spot him. I can spot him. Yeah, I can spot him. And my husband's like, stop. And I'll say, but no.
Your next book should be titled, Look at Him.
Look at him. I see you. Look at him. I see you.
Look at him.
That's gonna be the movie.
That'll be a movie. Yeah, I can.
If I get to sit next to him, I cannot. Why do you think it's so overlooked in Black and brown communities? That's what the basis of our show is.
Yeah.
Black and brown issues, and I just feel like I did not know of this until I started interacting with people that are not of color.
Yeah, I think because I said this. I'm not sure, but it's hard for parents. They see the symptoms, but they don't make that move. It's very hard for me to say to you as a parent, it's time to get Denise evaluated.
Do you think that a lot of us just don't know?
It could be. It could be that, or it could be denial.
Because they always have that gut feeling.
Yeah,
But it's also
my
stigmatized.
fault. It's my fault. What did I do?
And then if we say it's genetic, they're like,
right?
damn,
What did
am I autistic?
let me go back. Who has autism in my family?
And they could have it.
They could. Or,
Look at them. Look at them.
Right. Look at them. I see them.
Well, 1 minute.
Helen
comment.
Flowers.
Oh, hi, Helen.
Oh, that's my
Hey, boo.
elder from my church.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, I hope we didn't
So-
curse too much. Sorry.
Sorry, Miss Helen.
We've been trying to tone it down.
Yeah,
But
it's hard.
interesting.
It's not because I've had so many parents come to me and say, you know, they talk and they tell me what the child is doing at home, and I'll say, you know, Mom, it's time.
It's
time to
time.
get that child tested, and you got to be so ever gentle with it, though. So, because that's their child.
You tell them what it's time to be tested for, or do you say
Yeah,
it's just
no,
for
it's
you
time to have them tested because I don't know.
Okay.
So, you know, the psychologist has to go through a series or battery of tests for them to decide what really they are and where on the spectrum
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to have that gentle talk.
Marguerite
That's my
Williams.
sister.
Oh, she says, I'm so proud of you, my
Aw,
beautiful
thank
sister.
you, Shug.
Aw, that's all. You have a lot of support. I love that.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
I
So,
love that.
But as educators, we have to be very, very careful what we say and what we recommend because it can
Absolutely.
come back to haunt us. So a lot of teachers sometimes are like, you know what, I'm just going to mind my business because
Yeah,
I can't.
but-
We have to be very careful about suggesting things to parents.
yeah,
To,
you have to have it. You have to be very gentle, and you have to have that relationship with them first.
Yes.
You know, you
I
just
agree.
get, you know, you have to have
Can't
that
just call
relationship.
them right out of the
Yeah,
blue.
no, and you have to have that gentle, delicate conversation.
Do you, by any chance, know what the demographics are in terms of which populations have the highest rates and instances of autism?
No, that I don't know.
'Cause I would be interested to know.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had a lot.
Wow.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had
I
a
got
lot.
some questions.
My school was in Harlem. We had a lot.
Really
Yeah,
interesting. I'm just thinking.
and it wasn't just African American students though.
okay.
It was some Latino students.
You know what may skew the numbers though? It for the side of like white people, the fact that they probably diagnose it and report it more. In our communities is not as
We don't get true
Right,
numbers.
right, right.
So we don't get true numbers.
I know a lot of the parents, they go to the Kennedy Center to have their children. But you're right, that data from the white family, they keep that hidden. Whereas, you know, or if they're in private school or you know, or in charter schools, it's not, you know, it's not part of the data. Yeah, it's not part of the data.
still
So,
stigmatized. That's so crazy.
Mhm.
It's the Latino community is the same too though. Like our parents don't report,
Yeah,
they don't take
yeah,
it
yeah.
to get evaluated. It's so stigmatized.
right. And in the long run, who is it hurting? It's hurting the child.
The child, because then they have to grow up. I'm thinking to myself, like I had to grow up and figure the world out.
I'll figure this out. Now, if it would count as a disability,
Yes.
so I hate to
Yes.
say it, but I think that if a lot of people of color knew that it would count as a disability and they could
Yes.
get compensated for that, I think that
Yeah,
might
that.
encourage some people to, you know.
Then you have parents on the spectrum that want that label title so they can have that Social Security, you know, check
I
that
had
they
a
get.
child-
All of us would be on the spectrum at that
I
point.
would, everybody would be. It's you know, we're laughing, but I had a student. I actually have a student right now that came to me. Student has an IEP, and you know, we sat him down because I said, "You're smarter than this. Like, why are you acting a damn fool every day? Like, this is not. I know you're better than this because I've seen it." And he said, "Can I be honest with you, Miss Phillips?" He came to me just like that. He turned to me. He said, "My mama gets whatever the amount was, $600 and blah 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 dollars a month." He's
No,
like,
he
"I'm not
didn't.
gonna stop acting a fool because that's gonna cut into her income, and if that cuts into her income, that cuts into our food. If that cuts into our food, that cuts."
Wow.
He just broke it down. He said, "I know what I'm
Wow.
doing." He said, "I plan to be a truck driver. I'm gonna own my own company, and I don't need a college degree for that." So basically, leave me alone.
Wow.
He had it all worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that
She
crazy?
gets Social Security benefits for him.
And she's probably told him, like, go in
Mhm.
there and act a fool so we can keep getting this check.
Get that.
8th grade.
Wow.
They do that for adults too, because I'm about to go into work and act a fool. I'm gonna trash the room.
I see you.
I see you. Look at him. Look at him.
Let's trash the room. And you can't do nothing because I got a note from my doctor that says I can do it.
That's
There ain't gonna thing you can do about it. I love it. Oh my God. We're joking. We're sorry, you guys.
Yes,
Stop
please
playing.
don't cancel us.
Please don't cancel us. Please don't.
Black
buy
Twitter,
us.
don't cancel
Black
us.
Twitter, don't cancel us. Elon Musk, please don't shut us down. Thank you. I still believe, I think that environmentally, there's got to be some things. some data somewhere that says environmentally what could contribute to that. I think I've read an article where it said something about like the length in between pregnancies could cause it. After they are born, somewhere, it was before 12 months, I can't remember if it was 8 months or 9 months, the things that happen in that environment, are they traumatized? Was the mom traumatized while she was pregnant with them? I just want to do more research now.
We need research on that.
The age of the mother,
Right.
the older you are,
There
they
has
said,
to be.
There has to be data.
Yeah.
there's gotta be
It's
some
not so
data.
readily available though. But
Oh, I'm sorry. It says, I had a Marshall
Martial arts student that his mom took him out of martial arts because she thought that they were gonna take his check
take
away.
his check
So
away.
like similar to your story, Shirley. So people are aware.
know what's happening.
Yeah.
Can you get a check
Yeah.
for ADHD? My mama could have got a check. Oh, had I
Probably.
been diagnosed?
Yeah, probably.
Can I get one now if they diagnose me?
You can keep back pay.
Can I get back pay?
They're
Y'all
gonna
y'all do
retroactive.
I need to be diagnosed as ADHD. I need it. Not bad. Anyway.
That so I'm so curious about the data also.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know like where the funding is coming for this data. Does it benefit one party more than another to report on a certain population more than another?
Of course it
Does it benefit someone to say that it's just strictly genetic as opposed to environmental? Like I wonder where like I would
Yeah.
love to like pick this apart.
Right. When you go and look for data on African American children, like how many African American children actually have autism, it's not there.
It's not there.
No. Now, when I was doing my book,
Oh my goodness.
it was very difficult for me, as you can see the cover, to find an African American student
And the Google
on the
Pics,
websites for free pictures.
are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah, see, these kids are all,
you see her? That was the closest I got.
She could be Hispanic.
She
She
could be
biracial.
right. It's very hidden for some reason. It's very hidden, and if I were in the schools, I would have had to get parental consent from parents. But I could have gotten some African American children if the parents, would consent to that. But when you go on the actual websites and look, my publisher was looking for pictures of African American. It's not there.
So I wonder how
not
much
there.
that contributes to the idea that this is a white thing,
It's
maybe.
a white
So when parents are looking for resources and they go to the website and they realize that it's mostly white kids, then maybe they say, well, my kid can't possibly be autistic because there's some
Yeah.
black kids on here.
Right. Well, when you look at the cover, actually, I think a couple of these kids have Down syndrome.
I was gonna say he.
But
looks
I
like he may have
included
Down
them.
syndrome.
Yes,
'Cause that's a
I
part of the
included them.
spectrum,
Right.
correct?
I
Okay.
included them because it's a disability. So it was very hard to find children really that of our color to put on the cover. There's this website where you could go in and purchase and get parental consent for the pictures of African Americans. But I just went with this because I really I thought this was a nice representation.
And it's a good start, and I've never
Yes.
seen anything like this before.
Yes.
Helen wants to know what are some. Well, they also want to know where can they find the book, but they want to know what are some resources available for families who do have children with autism.
Well, the best resource is the school. Is to go into the schools and get resources at the schools. There's resources at the library. There's pamphlets at the library. There's pamphlets at the clinics. There's pamphlet. Your doctor, the pediatrician. You can get there's so much out there.
I agree.
There's
Go
so
to make
much.
these counselors do their jobs.
Make them-
'cause a lot
that's
of them
right.
are just sitting, having tea and crumpets. They are not doing it. Make them do the research for you. and
Yeah,
get you
tell
the
them you want
resources.
information on autism and let
Am I
them.
lying?
She said crumpets.
They're eating beans and toast like they're in London somewhere.
Crumpets,
And you
Shirley.
know the truth, that's why y'all laughing. Listen, not all. Some counselors are working their butts off.
No,
but a lot
seriously.
of them are really not. They're not doing what they're being paid to do because no one's asking them to.
I wonder if that's also by design, right? Like, especially in providing resources to communities of color, how much does jumping through all these hoops to try to get to someone discourage people from seeking more resources? Like, if I go to the first stop and it's very difficult for me to get any sort of help, am I going to continue to
Right.
push?
I'm going to continue.
I'm going to stop. I'm going to be
Right.
like, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm
Right.
not doing it anymore.
No.
I want to know these numbers, so now I'm going to do some research.
I know the Kennedy Center in Manhattan has a big autistic organization. You can go to Autism Speaks.
Yes.
You can go to, like I said, the library or Google it. But, there's only so much they're going to put on Google.
Exactly.
So.
With Asperger's, is that at the higher end of the spectrum, or how does that
Not
work?
sure. Not sure.
Can you explain that for me? Because I've always been curious.
I really don't have a definition of Asperger's.
I think that
To be
one
honest,
is characterized
yeah,
by
I don't.
social interactions, like social anxiety, social interactions.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, I'm not an expert either.
Yeah, I don't want to say because I don't have the scientific definition of it.
So there's Down syndrome that's on the spectrum, right? Are there others that people hear or use?
There are disabilities. There are disabilities, and only a psychologist, a psychologist and a medical doctor can diagnose that child as having Down syndrome, as having autism, as having Asperger's.
Okay.
We can't do it.
Okay.
So you need the specialist and the doctors to make that type of. I have not interacted with a child with Asperger's.
Okay. I feel like that one has.
Wasn't that would be District 75, wouldn't it be? A child would be
know.
in District 75.
I don't think so.
No.
I thought they were like supposed
they're
to be
high
the more
functioning.
high functioning, right?
Mm.
District 75 is more the physical
The
Yeah,
only
yeah.
reason I know this is because there was a girl on America's Next Top Model who had Asperger's.
Really?
And she was a model, and she would, like, talk.
They're
as
high
if-
functioning.
Yeah, so high functioning.
Like a lot of the gifted and talented students, I believe, have been diagnosed with that.
No, okay.
She was an artist, too. I remember her, like, showing her artwork.
Interesting. I want to know. And I want to know, now I want to know the black and brown numbers. Why y'all trying to keep this from us? What's going on?
Maybe we don't have it.
You don't? I couldn't find
Ooh,
it.
maybe this is
Yeah.
mostly,
Maybe it's...
listen. I'm
There are no
sorry.
numbers because we
There
don't
are
have
no
it.
numbers.
The limit does not exist. The numbers do not exist. Okay, we don't have numbers. Interesting. I want to know. I'm gonna go to my counselor. She gonna hate me tomorrow. 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
about
give
to make
her
her
some
life a
homework.
living hell. You
Give
need
her some
something to do,
homework.
man.
Let her find it.
You need to find this out.
Yeah. let her
Interesting.
find it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I want to also hear from the student. We have 2 minutes. I want to hear from the people that have it, like that are
Yeah.
older, that can tell me some of the mechanisms or mechanics that they've used to overcome this, the
Yeah.
lifestyle changes that they made, maybe outside of medication. Because I'm not really an advocate. I'm not-
For medication.
yeah, I just don't.
My husband recently sent me a link of a student who has autism, and he became a phenomenal artist. He's selling art all over the world. I think he's stationed in London, and you could see as he's drawing, he's so fixated on details,
Details,
and the structures of these buildings, and I mean, it's just phenomenal what they can do if they're have the right treatment, and if they have the right behavioral
Feel
planning.
seen,
Yeah.
Right? If they feel seen, if they
Right,
can speak to
right.
it.
And
normalize
get the help that they need early on,
And like OCD, people that have obsessive compulsive, like how is that different?
Yeah.
'Cause
I think I have that a little bit.
You might.
Yeah, the cans in my cabinets have
They
to.
have to be a certain
yeah,
reason.
they have to. Yeah, I'm a little over the top.
You're a Scorpio, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm Halloween.
Okay. Oh, my. See, you might have it, ma'am. Because
Yeah.
my boyfriend is a Scorpio, and my play sister is a Scorpio. She's actually October 23rd. It can be like this, and
Yeah.
it has to be
Yeah.
turned the right way.
It's getting worse as I get older. So I guess I wasn't diagnosed. I don't know.
We see you, though.
Yeah.
see you, though.
Yeah.
All right, before
I
we-
see me.
You see yourself.
Yeah, I see me.
That's the TED Talk. Man. That's coming later.
Yeah.
But please, before we run out, please tell them where they can get this wonderful book immediately. Website.
It is on Amazon. It's in Barnes and Noble. It's on ebook, and they can send me a email at djleader17@yahoo. I will send them a personalized edition. Again, the hardcover is $19. I'm gonna run it off.
$5. You can always contact the show if you want to message
Yes.
us. I will make sure that you get a copy. Just let me know how many copies you need. I think this is a great talking
Over
point.
220 have been sold.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's nice. And this
Let's get
just
these
came out.
numbers up. Let's get these numbers
Get the
up.
Let's get them
numbers
up. Yeah, that's from my own my distributor. But we had a book signing, and I think I sold close to 200 also.
Wow.
Yeah. So
We're gonna wrap this up. Elon Musk, listen.
He needs
Hi.
this.
I'm gonna message him now. I got
if
questions.
they email me, they can get a copy signed by me.
Signed copy.
Yeah, and I'll send it to them.
But we are out of time. Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys so much for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much for having me. This was an honor to be able to, a lot of people text me today, are you nervous? I think when you're speaking about something that's passionate to you,
You don't
I
get
think it's
nervous.
okay.
You don't get
It's
nervous.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
I see you, and I see you.
Oh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless my haters. God bless fake hoes. God bless these haters. Cause God only knows that. All I do is get it. All I do is get it. All I do is get it. All I